Hello, everybody, and welcome back to today's episode of Eberron, Gateway to Perdition. It's time to go to the nightclub. Let's check it out. So I think rather than walk you there or you take the train or whatever, you show up in style because you're traveling with Delilah to Kenneth, and I would expect no less. So what do you think? Do you walk up? Do you arrive in a carriage? Do you take a taxi, basically like a magical taxi? What is your
carriage?
Yeah, describe to me your magical arrival here. What does it look like?
Well, describe the outside of the nightclub.
The outside? Okay, all right.
Yeah,
obviously,
if it's like a underground nightclub, then no.
So this is supposed to be this is supposed to be their legitimate business. Okay. So it is big. It's a multi-story nightclub. The front of it is all black and gold, very Art Deco kind of looking entrance, big sort of decorative columns on either side of the entrance. There is
very, Great Gatsby.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's no sign, but everybody knows what this place is and have lined up. There's a lineup that goes around the block of people standing in the rain, all nervously shifting, trying to keep their best clothes from getting rained on. Lots of people standing with umbrellas, kind of waiting to see. And at the front, there are two bouncers, enormous dudes. Bruno, you guaranteed have fought these dudes before. Two big meat necks, and they're wearing tuxedos. And standing there, and there's the only thing holding everyone back is a little velvet rope between these two guys. And that's the scene, right? That's what we see. Obviously, it's raining. There is light coming. It's dark now because it's nighttime. And we can hear muted from the other side of the big double doors. We can hear the sounds of a jazz band playing inside. So we can hear maybe the sound of trumpet and drums and a stand-up bass, but it's all muted. It's all high pass filtered. So that's the scene. How do you arrive?
I imagine we pull up in a black carriage.
Yeah.
Stretch carriage.
Stretch carriage.
Oh. Sure. I mean, they're what are they called? Sky coaches, which are basically flying magic cars. Yeah. So yes, you can.
And it's gonna have a drop top, but of course the top is up because the rain is going on. Because I got money, so I can afford a car with a roof.
That's true.
We'll pull up directly to the front of the club, and I imagine this, and correct me if this is incorrect, y'all.
Someone said Eberron.
That's good.
That's
nice.
It's called Bruno and Vic pop out from. Bruno comes out from the front passengers, and then Vic comes out from the other side. I'll come out from the front door and pull out an umbrella, and then offer my hand.
I think I'm umbrelling. Oh, we will fight. I will roll. How dare you fight?
How is this? Yeah.
My top.
Okay.
We'll fight. Are we gonna fight?
I'll pull out the umbrella and you can grab it from me. I don't mind.
I have an umbrella, and it's Delilah's umbrella, and it's pretty, and I'm pretty sure we'll also kill someone.
Perfect.
Bruno is also getting in the mix and doesn't have an umbrella, but is taking the end of their coat and trying to use it to cover people's heads.
Whose umbrella are you standing under, Delilah? That's not Vic asking that. That's me asking.
Well, Rook doesn't even open it after seeing the struggle. It's just well, I'll just have it checked in with the code, I guess. There's no need. Well, it's fine. Delilah.
I hate for you to get rusty, and I'm just shivvy out in front.
Yeah, I think Delilah will wait for all of this nonsense to settle. And it's just I specifically had them dress nicely so that they wouldn't embarrass me. And now one of them is getting greasy raindrops all over their nice jacket. And just secretly speaking to themselves. I'm sure the driver leans over the back and is you have to get out of the car. And Delilah's shut the
the driver
I'm having a crisis.
So the driver is a Warforged, but he's wearing a chauffeur's jacket and cap, And he's very well trained, and so does not respond unless spoken to directly, and is very good at making it seem like whatever is going on in the Sky Coach, they are just oblivious to it. So
I think if they had turned around, they would see the brief moment of panic on Delilah's face before they.
So the drivers are Warforged.
Yes,
I want to pull military rank.
Really?
Yeah. Which is a part of my background. I'm gonna pop it in chat.
Okay.
You have military rank from your career as a soldier. Soldiers loyal to a former military organization still recognize your authority and influence, and they defer to you.
It's so cool too, because it's like there's this weird, and we talked a little bit about this in the first one. There's this weird kind of like shared trauma in that all modern Warforged were soldiers of some degree or another, and you being able to have this sort of shared like I see you, like I remember.
And I think part of this is like where the world is built of like there's a level of community outside of the war. Like if a Warforged needs something investigated, they would reach out to me and I would probably do it pro bono.
Yeah,
right. Same way, like how we needed a car, we were able to get one. And in the same way, I would imagine that when necessary.
Oh, so is that why like this you called in a favor, and this guy, this former like sergeant is like whatever you need, lieutenant, and like came to get you?
Absolutely. And I think in that reason, like they will be here if we need a quick way out.
Right. Yeah. Okay. All right, cool. So he pulls into the underground parking garage, and it won't be important until later in the movie. Okay. All right. Yeah. So he tells you, I'll be right outside if you need anything. And he only says that when you're the only one left in the coach, like everyone else gets out, and then he speaks. And he says to you, he's like, I'll wait out here. If you need anything, I'll keep an eye on the entrance.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Cool. Okay. So he pulls the Sky Coach off to the side and waits. So you imagine when we think about this place and the way it's built. Yeah, imagine like Great Gatsby, imagine like Art Deco, imagine like Rockefeller, right? Like that kind of like big like carvings of big like winged figures holding torches, and this kind of like the future is bright and industry and monorails. Imagine kind of like Rapture from BioShock with less Ayn Rand, but not that much less. And and it's all that very sweeping and large. And I think probably Delilah, what was this building before it was a nightclub? What do you remember this? Because you know this neighborhood. What was this building before you went to jail?
I think before Delilah went to jail, this was an apartment complex. And a lot of this area has started to see like some gentrification as the city expands. Yeah. And so this was an apartment complex where they knocked out the floors to have like a few what do you call them? Penthouses. Yeah. With open balconies on the insides. There's like an enormous, I want to say, and you can correct me, but like because they've like put balconies in the middle, and this was a very tall apartment, they've put like a fountain that shoots like straight up to almost the top floor, just to like show off that.
Yeah, there's like water features that have been added, that kind of thing. Yeah,
there's like a lot of crystalline like chandelier nonsense.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wanted to give it like baby motifs, and then I was like, that's idiotic. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean it's called the polished pram because that's what the baby wanted to call it, but the motif, like the actual internal stuff, they hired someone else. The architect would not allow that.
They did the polished pram for branding.
Yeah.
A baby on the fountain. You know those fountains.
Yeah, like a cherub.
Cherubs are a common theme. Yeah, I like that.
I call them fountain babies. Both are valid.
Fountain babies, aka cherubs.
Are they, Katie May?
Winged fountain babies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so the features are all like cherubs' faces that are like spouting water off of the balconies and stuff.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay. Cool. All right. So when you pull up, you are confronted, of course, with the front doors and the two tough-looking bodyguards that stand on either side of said door. So what do? Do you just like walk up and try to walk past them, or?
Yeah.
Do you want to try and intimidate them?
I think that we'll start with just walking past them. And then just go from there.
Okay, so as you walk up, there are the two guards, one on either side, and there's a carpet that leads up to the door. The door is closed, and there is a rope in front of it. You could theoretically just step over it, but that's a different flex than making them grab the rope.
Right.
Delilah will wait outside of the rope with a bored expression.
Okay. Yeah. So you just walk up and let's get a persuasion or intimidation roll, Delilah, whichever you think is more appropriate here.
Neither one of these will do well. I have a 12 charisma.
Okay. You can have advantage because you're with your posse.
Persuasion
Yeah,
and intimidation. So I get +1. I'll do persuasion.
And if it doesn't work, Vic can just try to talk them into it.
I'll step in if this goes.
Or we'll shoot them, whatever. Oh man, why did I click that? I didn't mean to. Sorry, I clicked a different thing.
Oh no! That would have been so bad if you didn't have advantage. So,
oh my goodness.
So this is the regular
roller
roll was
coaster of emotion.
Yeah, the regular roll was a 1, and the advantage roll was a 20. So yeah, it works perfectly because of your previous work. Because you've got your goons with you here. The guards, they look at each other. And you see, I think maybe Vic is the one that notices this. They expected you. They're like, of course you're here. Like, we were waiting for you. Mr. Kenneth, please. They don't say any of that, but one of them reaches up before you even have a chance to look bored. As you walk out, one of them reaches up, grabs the brass end of the rope, clicks the hook and opens it. The other opens the door for you. And allows you inside. So feel free to head into the vestibule. I have a map of the whole club here, so you can go in and check it out.
Yeah, I like to think that like the reason that it was a nat 20 is because Delilah choreographed their walks in. So in spite of like the scramble that they did, as soon as they like put their hand on the rope, Delilah with their fingers, and then there was some like fall in line like a V formation of geese.
Yeah. I said it's left, right, left, pivot, turn, sneer. More disdain. Come on.
More disdain.
So with the two front doors being pulled open by this bouncer, you can now see into the vestibule. There are some columns. You can hear immediately the unmistakable sound, Rook, you recognize, of the Bixkay Hill Band. You recognize the swinging drums of Bixkay Hill himself. There's a saxophone solo going on. They're warming up the crowd for the big vocal number later. Yeah. You hear that. You can smell cigar smoke. You hear the sounds of glasses clinking and people talking. And the whole place just reeks of class. So as you walk in, you see there's a woman sitting at the desk. She's wearing a sequined gown and has her like makeup on, and there's a little like a coat check room over here, and I think over in the corner of this room you see there's a big I guess it'd be like a magi technological, like a cigarette machine, but magic, and so it's glowing with a faint light as you come in, and the woman smiles. And says to whoever the first person through the door is, take your coat.
Bruno will be going through and just shake their head no.
Okay. Yeah, you're like, I'm fine. It's like, walk in. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm trying to think if they would have. No, probably not. Okay. All right. So yeah, you can just walk past and walk into the main bar itself.
Yeah.
I'll offer up my trench.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I offer my coat as well, but I really like. I offer up my trench.
Delilah has like a big fur shrug over this like waistcoat and white silk like ruffle neck nonsense. And drops the shrug to their inner elbows and looks at the coat girl and says, "No need to put your grubby hands on it. We won't be long."
Okay. Does
and
one
just
of your
like breezes past.
does Vic take the, because you don't even finish undressing it yourself, right? You just let it fall and you're like, somebody
No.
take this off of me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm on it. I'm there.
Because it's
Don't let this coat hit the ground, Vic.
Okay.
Die first.
So Vic, as you're giving the coat to the coat check girl, she says to you, 'cause she wouldn't say this to Delilah directly. She's like, "Oh my God, is that Delilah DeCanith?"
Oh, you certainly bet it is.
And she says, "Oh, she's even more glamorous than I thought. Prison hasn't aged her a day."
No. And you know what? She's more radiant than ever. You'll see.
And she looks at her with these big glassy eyes, and she's just like, "By golly, what a dame!" And she watches you like discard your coat and walk into the place. I assume
they're going to rule this town in just a short amount of time. That's when I just turned into weird henchman. That's when
yes, she's glory. Good. Yes.
Jazz version of Billie Eilish's "You Should See Me in a Crown" starts playing.
Yeah.
Post on a jukebox, so you just pay them an inordinate amount of money.
Yeah, we were doing. You got to know that if this was a TV show, we would do that awful thing that HBO does on every single show, where it's like, Here, it's like the swing jazz version, the instrumental swing jazz version of a Wu-Tang song. Ah, you recognize this, right? How about some Nine Inch Nails?
You wanted this, right? You wanted this.
You haven't seen Westworld recently, clearly.
Yeah, clearly. Yep. That drove me. That moment in Westworld drove me crazy because I didn't realize right away, and then I was like, "Wait a second.
Yeah,
I know this song." Yep. Okay. All right. So you hand off your stuff to the coat check girl. Vic, can you make? Actually, who's the last one into the bar? Because I assume Vic, you hand off the coat and then follow Delilah pretty closely, right?
Yeah.
So who's the last person to leave the like vestibule for the bar? Who's the last one out?
I think it's me because
Is it you, Rook?
I still have my trench coat.
Okay. Yeah, so she takes it from you as the other three enter the into the bar. And as you go to leave, you notice she doesn't go back to the coat check room. She doesn't go this way. She goes through this door instead. And on the door, all it says is employees only. You just notice her go through that door there.
Well, okay. I like double back up and well, actually, I'm gonna peel off.
Okay, so let me describe the room for you. So you come in through the archway, and the archway probably has something like ludicrous on it, like "Welcome to Paradise" or whatever. As you come in, and as you walk in, the smell of smoke, the sound of the band, the sound of everybody, and everybody's all very glamorously dressed here, right? Everybody's wearing expensive suits, smoking expensive cigars, drinking champagne, wearing gowns. The band looks great. Bix is, and I think you would know Bix Scahill from the war. Bix is a Warforged percussionist, and he came back and he started this jazz combo.
That's how he's on the 2s and 4s like magic.
Exactly. He's like some kind of drum machine. And so you see him at the back, and he's just playing like a casual, kind of like a swing beat. And there's a stand-up bass player, and there's a saxophonist, and they're playing, and everybody's like talking and having a great time. And you walk in, and like we said before, like Delilah described, the whole place is like opulent, right? Everything is polished gold and dark blue, and you can see the gang. But upon walking in, you take a look around. There's no sign of the baby himself, though certainly he must be around here someplace. Yeah. So as you come in, that's what you see. And then Rook, you said you wanted to peel off.
It's tough because I think seeing an employees only room and being an investigative unit would be something that like order would dictate him to follow through on, is like gather intel and then double back. But also Big Scahill is playing. And so this is a like true moment of conflict between war programming and life passion.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, in the moment of indecision of however long it takes, they realize that they have let like prime opportunity of both enjoyment to pass.
Yeah.
And just like slowly walks into the like actual area.
Right. So like you hover in that space of indecision and it sort of sours both options.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
And then double back and whoever that lady is with the crush on Delilah, they know we're here now.
Oh, they knew we were here the whole time. When they opened the little rope, they knew. It's how quickly they come running is what I'm interested in.
But they don't know that I'm here yet, right? Like then they can't tell it's me. I'm doing a good job, right?
You are doing the best job.
Crushing it.
You notice I was trying not to speak in front of people, because
it was really good.
Yeah.
You not talking was very good. Succeeded.
More D&D games need these conversations. Like you finish a fight and then everybody just spends 20 minutes reaffirming each other. Like, you did really good. That magic missile was awesome. Thank you. So
my party actually does that. It sucks.
There's a lowered area in front of you with some of these tables. There are tables set around the stage around this side. There's a bar over here. There's some booths near the back. The facilities are right around the corner here. There's a big glass wall over on this side, and then there's some like private rooms over here. Now there's also there's like a second floor, and if you look up, this whole section in the middle is like a mezzanine. So there are like VIP seating up above, and you can only make out sort of silhouettes. The whole place is lit dimly by magical light. Right, there are lanterns or like magical chandeliers basically hanging above, and so the area up above is open, but you don't see stairs that lead up to it anywhere around here.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we think that the either the VIP section up there or like in those private rooms, right?
Yes, but I think shortly someone will be here to let us know that we have a meeting.
Yes, the ball I think is in their court. Delilah, is there anything that you wish to be drinking? I'd love nothing more than to get it for you.
Delilah has already grabbed a martini off of a plate and is
fool.
holding it, but hasn't sipped off of it yet, has just been waiting for Vic to bring something up. Did you just take it
from a random waitress?
Just like as they pass by, just scooped it up off, which by the way is a IRL TK move because I'm a monster.
I love it. You're like, so the waitress just kind of looks at you and you eyeball her hard enough that she's just like, I guess I'll go get another martini.
Yeah, I just look back at her like, please say something.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, and just like holds the martini, doesn't drink it, waits for Vic to say something, hands it to Bruno, and says, Vic, I would love something with a spritzer in it. I've felt a little hoarse lately.
Yes.
Kind on my throat, please.
I'd love nothing more than to get that for you. And I head off to the bar.
Oh, could you also get me?
No. And will I walk over?
No.
I knew.
That's good. It's nice to give Vic the opportunity to say no.
Yeah, that's what's important. Can I do some sort of check around to see, like, who's watching us with maybe like told intent? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, of course.
What kind of
all the bartenders are just like cleaning.
If you're trying to read the vibe of the room,
yes,
you're reading the situation. Make an insight check.
Insight, good, better than perception. Here we go. A 5. Now listen,
wow.
this email that I'm going to send to Roll20 it's going to be long.
If you could roll better than like a 6 or a 7, I'd be really impressed if you could try to do that today.
Dear Mr.
Really
20.
cool.
So let me,
Dear Mr. 20, please.
Let me just, so I know we've been playing D&D together for a while, Katie May, but you know that high numbers are better than low numbers, right? In this game.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
So if
okay.
you
It's
could-
not golf.
Yeah, I've been noticing there's not as many dungeons or dragons as I thought there would be. This is all kind of new to me.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah. So I think
All
the only, you tell me, like, why does Vic have such trouble? Why does Vic have a
I
hard
think
time?
Vic thinks it's everyone. I think Vic
That's
can't see
paranoia?
past their paranoia.
Right, right. So I like, cause that would also be like a thing too, right? You're looking at all these people and like the shot here would be to illustrate Vic's paranoia. So the music would probably be kind of like off tune slightly, like slightly warbly. And it seems like everyone is staring at you and like laughing in slow motion. Like the room is just full of eyes, piercing eyes staring in your direction as you walk over to the bar.
Vic thinks irises are weird and
Yeah,
hates
right. Eye contact in general would be a foreign concept to changelings. Like they would have to practice it because
you're so right.
they can't. You could. It's like they're a whole species of people wearing sunglasses all the time.
Yeah, I relate.
So
Okay.
you head over to the bar. Yep.
Yes, I know Delilah's drink order by heart. I think.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
This was
Choose whatever
Spencer.
you want. It'll be right.
Delilah.
I know.
Delilah, Rook, and Bruno. Do you go find a table or?
Yeah. Bruno's gonna go find a table.
Yeah, Delilah doesn't find a table. She
Okay.
has people.
There's I think there's an
people for
empty.
that.
There's an empty table over here.
That's
So-
pretty good. That's. I was actually looking at that one.
Yeah. So that's I think where the three of you end up down
I love
there.
this table. It's my favorite.
The best table.
Okay, so yeah, you head over and you sit down at the table, and I think as you do, there's in the table surface there is a like you hear a chiming as a little window opens and you can see there's a little reflective like a glass dome that displays essentially a magical hologram of like the menu, and that appears in the middle of the table. You can hear the conversations, the quiet conversations of people around you. There's evidently like a date or something, or some like rich dude is out with his mistress at the table next to you, because she does that laugh that is like clearly obviously canned and fake to anyone else who's listening, but her companion doesn't seem to notice. Right? He's just like chomping on a cigar. He says something funny and she titters. The band finishes their number. Bix gets up and he does a little bow and he says, me and the band are going to take a little break. We'll be right back. And there's some applause as Bix and his two players go backstage.
That's terrifying.
And so the group of you are you're sitting out here. You go over to the bar, Vic. You get a drink. What do you order for Delilah?
Ooh, I know so much about alcohol. Please don't make any Katie May's too young to drink it jokes. I'm just so terrified to say something here right now. I'm so scared.
I order her a wine cooler.
A non-version Shirley Temple.
What is like with a spritzer?
I order her a Fireball and Dr. Pepper, I guess, or I don't.
That's exactly what it is. No, okay, so some sort of
She does
spritzer. I should
actually
have been
drink
googling
Fireball.
it. I should have been googling spritzer drinks. What's a spritzer drink? I don't know what it is. I'm panicking on the inside.
I imagine this is Vic's internal monologue as they walk from the entrance to the bar. And actually, this is literally even years on. This is literally what I have to do every time I want to order a drink from the bar. I have to rehearse it in my head the entire time while I wait for someone to come up and ask me what I need to drink. And I'm like, don't say it wrong. Don't say the wrong thing. Don't make an ass of yourself. Just order the damn drink, Adam. So you have a moment as you walk up, and then the bartender, a halfling woman, she has short hair on the sides, and it's like a little taller on the top. She's wearing a buttoned-up shirt with a bow tie, and she has her sleeves rolled up and like held up with those like sleeve garters, the old-timey like sleeve garters.
Yes.
And she's looks at you while she's finishing someone else's drink, and she's got a knife that she is cutting the rind off of a lemon with. And she does it in one practice, like twist, and gets this like perfect corkscrew. And she looks over at you and she smiles and she says, "Get you something, sweetheart?"
Yes. Well, TK has just sent me a Fireball cocktail recipe, so I guess we're gonna go You just messaged it to me. I now have to pull it up. It's called You Sent Me. I'm sorry to just stop the whole Dungeons and Dragons game. You have sent me a Hunger Games themed recipe cocktail. Okay.
Perfect.
Well, then I'll say it with a straight face, and then you'll be the one who feels bad.
No, I've had this cocktail. It's in my favorites.
Yes, the girl on Fireball cocktail would be that one. That one is the one I'd like.
Fantastic.
I don't care. It's delicious.
And what is in a the girl on Fireball?
Yes, thank you for asking me. I have to do the thing with recipe posts where I have to get through like the girl's whole life, and then she'll tell me what the recipe is.
I first drank this drink in 2003. It was a good year.
I scroll through the whole thing, and it's just a bottle of hard cider and whiskey.
Yeah. And then I mix a little bit of Sprite in it.
There you go. Doesn't sound bad.
I can't breathe. That was so pointless. But was gonna been like, get some Fireball whiskey and your favorite hard cider, but I scrolled for like
A lot of recipe websites are just blogs with a recipe at the end of the post, which is like that's fine.
Okay.
Or I will
Sorry,
I will settle for apple pie moonshine.
Oh my god, apple pie moonshine is
I've
so
had
good.
that.
It's really good.
Yeah, let out your inner white girl, Adam.
Wait, let's just get moonshine all around.
Yeah,
Yes,
cool.
apple pie moonshine for everyone.
Your boy's going to South Carolina for Christmas. Could make that happen.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So Vic, you order the drink, and the final touch is the bartender takes a little glass, like a stir stick, drops it in, swirls it around a couple of times. There's a brief flash as the top layer like burns off, and she blows the drink off and puts it on the table. And do you go to pay her, or do you just walk off with it?
I also get a round of apple moonshine shots, apple pie moonshine shots.
Okay.
I get a round for all
right.
of us. And then,
Yeah.
yes, I do walk away.
Okay, yeah. So she gives you, she says, now that you have a bunch of shots and stuff, she says, do you want me to have one of the girls bring it over to your table? And she looks, you can see your comrade sitting at the table over there.
That'd be cool. That'd be wonderful. Yes.
All right. So she gets a waitress to bring it over. And you head back over to the table, I assume.
Yeah.
Adam.
Yes.
I think you're forgetting something.
What's that?
You have not been abiding by the hot or not rules.
Oh, that's true. I thought that it was implied. The hot characters in this scene so far are, depending on your preferences, Bix Scahill.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Highly stylish robot drummer.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the bartender is
Bartender
also
was
Okay.
hot.
the
Yeah, that
bartender
was
is
implied
also
hot.
What
she
about
is
the
also
band?
hot. The band,
okay.
they're just like background stand-in, like session musicians. It's
Okay,
the Big
so, yeah.
Scahill band featuring
Yes.
these guys.
I
Right?
love
They just look like randomly generated Sims.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
it.
yeah. Exactly.
They literally disappear into a pile of pixels when they go off screen. It's just gone. They no longer exist.
He was
Okay,
a
I was
real
just
good
making sure.
illusionist robot back in the day, you know. He does all. It's actually him doing all of them.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
It's a one-man band. Yeah. Okay.
There you
So
go.
so yeah, that's what's going on. Bruno, you had a question? I thought.
Well, no, I was just gonna say when Vic comes back to the table, or to the table for the first time, Bruno is like going through the menu, like looking at stuff like, I thought they removed wings from the menu, so like this is cool. They have wings again. Anybody wants them? I mean, like I'm not like terribly hungry, but if anybody else is hungry, I could go on some wings together. Like I'm not gonna be able to eat all of them myself. Well, I could definitely eat all of them myself, but I don't want to do that tonight. You know what I mean? They have.
They're probably like the wings are probably like small dinosaur wings. Like
Yeah.
it's like velociraptor wings.
Mm-hmm.
Terrifying.
Yeah, and Bruno just looks up at the rest of the table like, am I just
I literally cannot eat or drink.
right? Okay. Delilah?
Delilah doesn't want heartburn, but doesn't say so out loud.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, Delilah just looks disdainfully at the menu and continues scoping out for the baby. Can I does a scope for the baby?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
I would
Yeah.
also like to do a perception check, if that is okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh God, I'm so scared.
All right. A 10,
Cool,
a
cool,
10 and a
cool,
6.
Cool.
No.
Should have just given you advantage. I think that would have been the best way to have done
Yeah,
that.
unfortunately, in this situation, like it's an internal like thing.
Yeah.
So like helping someone on perception is more like you're putting your heads together and you're like actively looking for something. This is more like just looking around.
Yeah.
But I will say this. So Rook, you notice, and maybe this is you're distracted by this, but from back here, from this little side entrance here, you see Bix Scahill. Bix emerges from the back, and he starts making his way over to the bar. And he starts walking this way, and he walks by your table. Do you want to stop and talk to him, or do you want to see if he notices you? Or okay,
I don't. Yeah, I would like to go stop and talk to him.
Okay, yeah. So
Or
he's
at least
Don't
join
make
him
your
at the bar.
dreams come true.
He's walking by. He so yeah, as we said before, he's got like the pinstripe like zoot suit on. He's got a fedora. He's spinning a drumstick in his fingers, but he's doing it in a way that no human dexterity would allow. Like he's just this very complicated spin. And I think Rook, you've seen other Warforged do this with like knives. Right.
Yeah.
And so he's just idly spinning the drumstick around as he walks to the bar, humming to himself. And then you see him like starting to go by.
I approach him, make eye contact.
Yeah.
I salute, and I go, Unit 9674. What an honor and privilege to see you again, sir. And like,
yeah.
no,
And
no, like,
yeah, when
accent.
you address him like that, he stops and he turns, and there's a second where he kind of like his composure, like the big Scahill like illusion kind of slips slightly, and I think I'm gonna make a roll. I want to see if you surprise him enough that he like drops the drumstick. Let's see. He's pretty unflappable, but whoop, not today. So when you say that, he stops and he turns, and you just hear the despite the ambient sound of the bar, we watch the drumstick like bounce off the floor, and he turns to look at you, and he sees you, and you're giving him like a little salute.
Yeah. Well, I'm addressing him as his title and my previous commander for a brief stint.
Yeah. And would he recognize you, or is there a chance he wouldn't?
I would leave it up to a roll.
Okay.
I truly,
Yeah, sure. Okay. What do you think the chances are that he recognizes you?
Well, you're a little disguised, aren't you?
Yeah, that's
Right.
true.
Pencil mustache.
Yeah, the pencil
Pencil
mustache.
mustache. It's a new face that hasn't been seen before. Yeah, I would say. I think unless I introduce myself as, I don't even think he would recognize. Potentially could recognize my unit number, but offer like investigation unit 1138X as like for a moment if he doesn't remember. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna roll just to see. Okay. So he stops and he looks at you.
Yeah.
And he says, "Oh, I don't go by the numbers anymore, kid."
I know. Honestly, it's the reason why I talk like this now instead of like that. You can actually call me Rook Slade. It's truly an honor and a privilege.
And you can see him sort of staring at you, like,
Yeah.
And if it were a human, he'd have like a furrowed brow, and he'd be trying to figure, but it's impossible to say. So he just stares at you, and he says, "Slade, I know that name. Why do I know that name?"
Been around, purchased a couple of your records, maybe in mass. Saw a lot of your shows.
And
to be honest, yeah.
When you say that, you see his body language change, right?
Yeah.
Where he puts on the Bix costume more fully again, and it's like, oh, you're a fan. I have context now.
Right.
And he says, shucks. Well, if I had known I was addressing such a big fan, well, that's different. And he claps you on the shoulder, and he says, well, I'm glad to have you out at the show.
Yeah.
What a venue, huh? He looks around.
Gorgeous. What a rootin' place. You know, sharing the stage with such legends, and of course you're one of them.
And he says, coming from just about anybody, I'd assume you were trying to flatter me, but I know you're a real fan, Slade. So, and he looks around, he sees the discarded, the dropped drumstick, and he crouches down, and he picks it up, and he says, he holds it out.
I try to get there before him to offer it to him first.
Yeah. So he picks it up, and he holds it out to you, and he says, why don't you hang on to this?
Oh. If Rook could cry.
The tears of a machine.
The tears of a machine. Like, I know you have more. Thank you.
And he looks past you and he sees Delilah, and he says, those your friends over there, Slade?
Yes, sir.
Look like a bunch of movers and shakers. Why don't you introduce me? And he just starts walking like past you already towards the table.
Absolutely.
That's terrifying.
Follow immediately behind him and try to rush up in front and go, Cats, this is the one, the only, the Bic Scahill.
And he puts his hands up like, whoa, okay. You're making me seem like a bigger deal than I am. But it's false modesty, right? He's just like,
right.
it's true, like I am. But like,
well, also for Rook, like Bic is the reason why they don't have as bad as like PTSD and everything from the war. Like truly, like the idea of finding this outlet through like numbers turning into music in the way of like, that's like it's the way it's being processed for, I think, at least for Rook when they listen to it, and like giving them purpose outside. So like,
yeah,
pure fan.
Yeah, they're a role model, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. Totally. Okay, so it seems that Bix is mostly interested in meeting Delilah. Vic, do you get in the way as he walks up?
Not. I look to Delilah for like a, do you want to deal with this interaction?
Delilah does not. The thing with Delilah is that Delilah is House Cannith, so they already have like a very complicated relationship with Warforged in general. The only Warforged to date who has earned Delilah's respect has been Rook, because Rook was such a thorn in their side before they went away to prison as an investigator and police officer. So there is like a begrudging respect between rivals who have unfortunately found themselves to be allies in this moment. That will probably change when Delilah's back in power, but for now, Rook is the only Warforged that Delilah wants to be seen in public with.
Yeah.
All right.
That's just how it is.
Then I do my old move, but now I'm in like a burly Nathan Lane, like a terrifying.
I like the idea that Vic has multiple Nathan Lanes, where you're like, I'm Nathan Lane, but from the birdcage. Okay, now I'm Nathan Lane, but
this is Nathan Lane from
Nathan
Producers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, for absolutely sure. And so I like intervene. And I do but now I'm in like a cool, can be intimidating form, and I'm feeling more confident. And I say, yes, well, we love meeting talent.
Okay. And what are you trying to get him to do? Like,
just
fuck
sort
off?
of realize that, yeah, fuck off. Yeah, that's exactly it.
All right.
Just be uncomfortable enough to see that he isn't wanted.
Yeah.
And Delilah doesn't say anything to him, looks over his shoulder at Rook and says, Rook, when you've finished playing around, we should get back to business.
Vic, can you make an intimidation check?
I feel it in the air tonight.
Do it with advantage, because Delilah is
changes.
sneering over your shoulder and ignoring this very important Warforged.
I don't care about it.
Wow.
Very intimidating this time. 21. All right. So Bix stops when you say that, when you're like, we don't, what do you say to him? Like, what's the last thing you say?
We love to meet Talent.
That's right. Yeah.
But Talent is said in a very not
hell?
Yeah. So Bix stops and he casts a quick glance at Rook like, oh, you didn't warn me that they were racists. Rook, you should have told me. Doesn't say anything, but there's a quick look like, oh, this is how it is. And
Can I shift to a very shocked face very fast?
I mean, as shocked as a Warforged face can be. Yep.
Yeah.
He stops a little short and he looks to Vic instead, realizing like, oh, I can't talk to her. I got to talk to you. And he says, I see how it is. That's fine. It's a very important, very useful skill to know when you're somewhere that you're not wanted. It's kept me out of trouble all these long years. Enjoy the show, everybody. And he turns and he walks past you and he looks at you like a little bit disdainfully, Rook. Like, these are the kind of people you're hanging out with.
Okay, step and fetch it.
Get your shit straight.
Said, don't make me look bad in front of the band.
So he looks at you like this was all your fault, Rook, and he shrugs and he's like, he walks away, humming to himself again, and goes back down this little hallway.
I would feel bad, but he was obviously using Rook for clout, so I don't feel bad. TK doesn't feel bad.
He's my hero until, well, this is probably a moment later. Rook will realize they're just an individual. Yeah, he sucks as well. But right now,
dude sucks.
It hurts.
Okay.
Rook just got to.
As he was walking away, can I use my Fey presence? Just as because everyone in a 10-foot cube has to make a wisdom saving throw against my warlock spell DC and either be charmed or frightened by me.
Oh, perfect. Yes, if you'd like to charm or frighten Bix Scahill, you are welcome to do so.
Does that include us too?
Yes, it certainly does.
Is it it's creatures?
Swear to God.
Yes.
Okay. So your 10-foot cube is going to be what? Like you could hit it. So let's see. If he's still here, a 10-foot cube would get both the Warforged if you put it there.
Okay. Yeah, that would work for me. That'd be fine.
Okay, so
I should
Delilah,
get advantage against her.
Is Delilah in or out?
I can't tell. It won't zoom in.
I'm
for
sure.
me.
It's up to you. Do you want it? You could hit all three of them, or
no, I would never do this to Delilah.
Okay.
No, I would not.
All right.
But if it hits fucking Brooke, then I don't care.
Okay.
Okay. I see how it is.
I think that I will amend it to Delilah being impressed, so charmed.
Cool.
I think you choose when you activate it, right?
Yeah, I would choose that both of my companions would be charmed by me and that what's his face Bick would be terrified by me.
Okay.
Maybe enough to just go backstage to whoever's planning to fuck with us and spread some worry about is my goal.
All right, let's see this wisdom save. I got a 15.
By one, you beat me by one.
All right, so you managed to charm Rook. And where do we land on Delilah? Delilah was outside the effect?
I'll say Delilah was inside because I'm definitely in the square that is diagonal.
I think it's reasonable to hit all three if you want. Yeah, and so Delilah. So this is the thing: is that Vic is a powerful warlock, right? We forget that, but they have like deep magical power, and now Rook and Delilah both feel it. What is that like, Vic, when you charm someone with your spells?
It's like right when you get that feeling of like. I don't know what it looks like, but I feel like it's like almost like this when it hits you, because I don't know if it's visible.
Yeah, I don't think
it's
so.
like that after that like first drink hits, and it's like your stomach just kind of like lifts for a second, and you're like, oh, like it's that kind of nice feeling, just kind of like spreads like from your heart, just like hits your whole body.
Yeah, and you know that you feel that way because of Vic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How long does it last for?
Not long. It's just like a quick little like.
Do we know we've been charmed after? Is it like friends?
It's actually not.
Yeah.
Nice.
it just lasts for like one of my turns. So for 10 seconds, you think I'm
yeah. I think Delilah will set down their glass with their girl on fireball and kind of push it across the table, and the mix is off, and that's all they'll say, though they are very impressed by Vic right now.
Rook picks up the drumstick, starts walking over to Vic, and like within the 10 seconds start to hand it to, and then well, let's sit and enjoy the show, huh?
Well, are we doing wings or not? Like, what's happening?
I can't eat, Bruno. I literally cannot consume.
Bruno, I imagine this entire scene, the waitress has been standing here, and you're like, just 1 second. Whenever they're done, we're gonna make it. Just hang on just 1 second. We're trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh my god, yes, I will eat a wing.
Bruno just doesn't want to have to pay for the wings. It's just like, if one person eats a wing, I'm not paying full price. We're splitting it.
Yep. So yeah, if you just like hang out at the table and wait, Bix Scahill and his big band, they come back out on stage, and they play some more. And I think probably at this point they're like joined on stage by a vocalist. There is a young woman dressed up like Jessica Rabbit who comes out and does a very, very sultry jazz number. And it's clear everybody in the audience, like, they came to see her. I think you all, maybe Delilah, you wouldn't recognize her, but Bruno, Vic, and Rook, you know this woman. Apparently her story is that she showed up in Sharn. She grew up on like a farm, somewhere far away from the trains, and she came to Sharn to make it big. And now she has this gig at this fancy new place, and she's like a kind of a rising star. And so she comes out and she starts singing, and everybody's just totally enraptured by this. See, this is the thing. I can't tell you if she's hot or not, because
you can.
I don't know what your characters think hotness is.
My character thinks hotness is whatever I think is hot. This is a 3-part miniseries. It's not gonna matter.
I would not find her hot. I think she's too packaged to be hot. I think that she's not interesting enough to be hot. She's maybe conventionally attractive, but
okay. She sells CDs hot.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she's like, 20s like starlet hot, in the sense that she's like got this kind of girl next door who's become glamorous, like, so she's still accessible as a person, but she's also kind of mythological because she's a fancy singer or whatever. But everybody in here loves her.
Delilah has like a sideways comment, and basically 6 months from a drug spiral.
Yeah, right. Well, and that's the thing, is that she's in a bad place. She might be on top of the pile now, but if the baby suddenly decides that she doesn't like her, then trouble for this girl.
Ripperoni.
Yeah, so she comes out and she starts singing, and she gets partway through like her second song, when there is the arrival of a well-dressed individual, a rather burly looking man. Bruno, perhaps another of your former compatriots of the fighting ring, comes out of this entrance, and same thing as the bouncers outside. He's wearing the like gorilla suit, right? The tuxedo, with the collar that's too tight and the bow tie. And he comes out and he starts walking over to your table, right? Walking along this way, towards the table.
Bruno's going to just like put their hands in their coats and like and ready their knuckle dusters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just have them there.
Okay. All right. So so he starts walking over to the towards the table, and he stops because he can't quite get to where Delilah is. He stops and he just goes hands folded in front of him, and he says to you, Delilah, whether you look at him or not, he says, here's a question. Are you married?
Delilah has been married.
Yeah, that was the other thing. So are you like a widower? Or
I don't think Delilah is a multiple time widowed status person.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's the easiest way to get money, really.
So he comes over and he says, Delilah DeCanneth, I presume. You turn, pay attention to him.
Delilah will put up a finger as they finish off one of the apple pie moonshine shots. And then like delicately rearranges it on the tray and slowly turns their head.
My employer, Mr. Myson, would like to speak with you upstairs in the VIP area.
Well, when I'm finished here, I'll pay him a visit.
And you can see him, he kind of like, you watch the moment where he's like, I'm not going to roll my eyes. I'm not going to roll my eyes. I'm not going to do it. And he just exhales slightly through his nose and he says, I'll wait.
Over there, if you don't mind, you're obscuring my view of this delightful concert.
He takes
Bruno will stand up.
He takes a single step back this way.
It's okay if like he's not even standing in front of the concert. That's fine. It's
Yeah,
just like
you're crowding my space, man. You're cramping my style.
I can't hear these delightful dulcet tones over your mouth breathing.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, he takes a step back. He doesn't take the bait. He doesn't get angry. He just puts his hands in front of his chest and he watches the stage.
I watch him.
Yeah.
The entire time.
Okay. Do you want to make an insight check?
Yes, I'd love to. If it will let me click. There we go. Here we are. We're back. Insight. Another 6. Does that work for you?
You're doing so 6. Well today.
You're doing amazing, sweetie.
He is impassive. He is as a rock. You can't get a read on him at all.
The baby's sending his best. A lot. All right.
Yeah, Bruno will sit back down and finish off their wings.
Excellent. Is anybody else eating them, or is this just like Bruno shoveling dinosaur wings into their mouth?
Bruno is eating all the wings and I'm drinking all of the liquor.
I keep imagining that Bruno is proportioned like Ralph from Wreck-It Ralph. Like mostly arms.
I have a single wing, but I eat it. I like slowly pick off pieces of it and I just put it in my mouth very dainty.
You can't damage the lipstick.
Mm-hmm. No. Delicious. So the song finishes, right? And this singer, I think she probably has a stage name like Blue Rose or something. Yes. And she finishes the song. And this is one of those like big Christina Aguilera finishes, right? This is like a Baz Luhrmann musical finish with like, you know, she's singing and there's like an illusion behind her of like dolphins leaping from the water. And when she finishes, she wipes away a single tear right from her eye. Like, you know, she's so touched to be here.
This is the most amazing night of my life.
Yeah, like thank you so much, everyone. And everyone's clapping.
Thank you, Ravnica.
Bruno, you see over here, there's a guy, another boxer. You recognize this guy as kind of like an up and comer, and he's sitting there with like a bunch of hangers on. He gets up and just starts like clapping, and you notice he's got a blue flower like in his lapel. And he's just like clapping, like woo, like cheering, and she demurely like, you know, leaves the stage, and backstage, you know, immediately she just like starts fucking smoking cigarettes. But she goes backstage. Bix and his players, they settle into like a quieter, like a loungier number, and you hear just the slightest clearing of the throat from the guard, right? The bouncer's like,
oh, you're still here. Oh, all right. Delilah will leisurely get away from the
Are
table.
you signaling to any of us that you want us to come or that you want us to stay behind?
I assumed we were all following.
Yeah, we're all coming.
Oh, I'd wait. I would wait until the signal.
So Delilah, you get up and he gestures, right? Like right this way, please. But then if anybody else also gets up from the
Brooke
table,
gets up.
okay.
Yeah, Delilah will like notice that there's some space between them and the rest of the group, and then again.
Then I'm up.
The guard puts a meaty hand up and he says, I'm sorry, this invitation was extended only to Delilah. The rest of you have a seat. Enjoy the show. I'll have some drinks sent around. And he looks over at the bartender like, drink these folks up.
That's so kind. We'll have them in the office. Thank you.
So you want to try to pressure him into letting you bring your friends upstairs?
Like, what are you gonna do? You gonna throw me out?
I want
Okay.
I would love to do an intimidation or assist in someone's intimidation roll.
Well, I'm gonna cast friends.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna do that, and I cast friends, and I say, well,
So
I don't
before
think
you cast your spell, what components does this spell have?
a small amount of makeup applied to the face as the spell is cast.
Is it verbal, somatic, and material components?
It's just somatic and material.
So you don't have to say anything. You just move your hands. Okay, so he won't notice if you cast it. Then I don't think.
Yeah, and I think I'm straight up copying Delilah, and I think it is lipstick. It's just like the quickest.
That's great. That's perfect. Yeah.
I think Delilah taught me this.
Okay, so does he get a saving throw against friends?
I just get advantage, which I need.
So it gives you advantage on persuasion.
Yes.
Rolls. Okay. So what do you cast the spell? You reapply your lipstick, and then you say,
I don't think it's very reasonable that you'd expect Delilah, the decadent, to go anywhere without a proper entourage.
Excellent. Okay. So go ahead and make that roll with advantage.
All right, here we go.
Try to roll differently.
Nobody has to make this.
Roll differently than yourself and roll more like someone who rolls better.
Yeah, I'll think about Adam last
roll
time.
Roll like Carlos whenever Carlos is in disguise.
Oh yeah, whenever Carlos is
somebody
disguised.
else's boyfriend.
Well, 21.
Hi, you did it!
Very
You rolled like
nice.
Carlos.
I rolled like Carlos.
Winner!
For the win!
Excellent. Nicely done. Okay. So yeah, you ensorcellate this guy, and he looks at the table and he says, well, I'm going to make an intimidation check on behalf of his boss in absentia.
Okay.
He was quite intimidating. And let's see who he is more intimidated by.
Beat at 21, you dumb baby.
You got a 27.
You should not mock me.
Katie May!
Oh, come on.
Katie May!
My God.
Katie May!
You did this.
Adam,
You
I just want
caused
to
this.
point out that I've done 2 sessions with you now, and I think you've rolled 5 nat 20s.
Yep. Do not take me for a conjurer of cheap tricks, Katie May.
I knew that you were writing macros.
So you are persuasive, but the baby is more persuasive, and it looks like it really hurts this guy that he wants to say yes, right? He's like, that does make sense. Your argument is correct, and he nods and he says, that's the thing. Mr. Myson was very clear that the invitation extended only to his old friend Delilah. I'm sorry, you 3 will have to stay down here. I meant it about the drinks, though. I'll make sure you have a good time. It's just going to be a short conversation. I promise. I'll have them back to you in just a minute.
This is a clear change of demeanor.
Yeah, like all of a sudden he's being real nice to Vic and like apologetic and like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry I have to say no.
Delilah will look from Vic to the bodyguard and just sort of, Don't worry, Vic. I'm certain that I'll be perfectly safe. And see if like there's any facial change on him.
While this is happening, can Rook kind of just like walk away for a moment to the bathroom and like dip into stealth?
Yeah. The facilities are back here.
Cool. Well, I think more or less like almost as if immediately behind, just getting hidden. Let's see how it goes. Okay. Rolled an 18.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
You're very sneaky. And
Very sneaky.
the idea is you want to follow them? Okay.
I want to like, yes, follow them where they go and also be within earshot of Delilah if possible.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. All right. I don't think that this guy expects you to just straight up follow them upstairs. So yeah. Okay. So Delilah, the guard leads you back to this hallway back here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Delilah's gonna loop their hand on the inside of this guard's elbow, just like hold on to it, like, oh, we're friends.
Okay.
Also, the guard has probably like 13 seconds left until he realizes that magic was done unto him.
Like, so, wait a second.
For Baroni.
I'm nothing if not on it.
Yeah. I would like to, if things go awry, I would like to hold an action for shocking grasp on this guard. But
okay, so you want to ready a shocking grasp?
Yeah, I want
in
to
case. Now the thing about casting a spell is with a held spell is you cast most of it, and then you have to like hold it in your mind. So he would hear you casting a spell. If you want to excuse yourself and be like, I'm just going to run to the facilities first, you could go into the bathroom and cast it and then hold it in your head.
Nope.
Okay, so you're just like, nope, we'll go with him. And so, all right. So if you do want to cast something, it will require that you roll initiative to like beat him to the punch. Yeah. Okay.
If I, so when they cast it, they will do it to the tune of whatever Blue Rose was singing, sort of like surreptitiously, but they'll cast it there. That's fine. And then hold on to like as a trigger. Because I think Delilah is more interested in intimidating this clown.
Yeah. All right. So as you walk down the hall, these two doors, just for future reference, the door on the north has a sign on it that says talent only. This door on this side, I'm actually going to open it slightly because it's been propped open. And I'll just open it there. So that door, as you walk by, it's propped open slightly. There's like a little wooden crate like stuck in it, so it doesn't close on its own. As you walk by, you can feel a cool breeze from outside. You can hear rain, and you can smell lingering like cigarette smoke in the air as you walk by that door. And then there's a set of stairs that lead up to a little landing, and then stairs that go up to the second floor, which he escorts you to through this hallway. So let me take you upstairs, Delilah. So the two of you head up the stairs, and you arrive in a hallway. Yeah, up here. I'll click for everybody else. It'll just be dark up here, but Delilah, you can see. So this is a long hall, and this hallway has a bunch of doors on the right, which are all closed, and on the left, as you walk by, there are framed pictures of various celebrities. There are pictures of, and some of them are like signed headshots. So you see like a bunch of those, but a few of them are more candid photos of what look like gangsters, basically partying with famous like singers and musicians. So you'll see like a bunch of people sitting around a table, kind of looking at the camera like, oh, you'd like, no, don't take a picture, like jokingly, and people drinking together and like people standing. And there's a photo of the old dilapidated, and I'm imagining like the Bradbury building in LA, the Bradbury Building, the old dilapidated version of this building, and you can see a curmudgeonly looking, almost like spherical, like barrel shaped halfling in a suit that's slightly too tight for him. And he's got a big pair of ceremonial scissors, and he's cutting a ribbon. And there are some other what look like politicians like around him. And so you see this lining the wall of the hall as you're escorted through it. Meanwhile, downstairs, what's going on? Are you going to follow them upstairs, Rook?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All the way through it.
All right. So I'll put you around. You're around this corner.
I had to like be hiding within the stair now to like just peeking around.
Yeah, exactly. Peeping around the corner. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. And then for Vic, so Vic and Bruno, you are still at the table. What are you gonna do?
Bruno's gonna get up and go over to that person that had the blue flower.
Yeah. Okay. The other guy, let's say he's over. Let me I'll put a new marker down for this guy. So he's over at this far table here. There you go. Yeah, so you want to walk over here? Okay. Yeah. So he's now talking as you walk up. You can hear him talking to his friends about, and it's clear they've been here a while and they've been drinking a while because there's one of those ornate metal ice buckets. And there's like 2 empty champagne bottles in it, and there's champagne flutes all over the table. There's a cigar burning in an ashtray on the table. And as you walk over, he's telling one of the men that he's here with, he's like, I've seen Blue Rose perform here 17 nights in a row, and every time it gets me right here. And he like pokes at his chest. And do you want him to notice you walking over, or are you walking over like behind him, like out of his field of view?
I'm kind of behind. I'm just like eavesdropping for a minute, but
Okay.
But then I want to quickly like come up and like put my arm around this person and and immediately be like, oh hey goodbye, and like just feigning very, very drunk.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you come over and you like put your arm around him. He gets startled and surprised and kind of like recoils, and he's like, "Whoa, hey!" And he stands up and his chair like knocks over, and he does that thing where he kind of flinches a little, like he's not sure if he should punch you or not. Like he's gauging whether you're a threat.
He puts his hands up like for fisticuffs, and then like Bruno puts the hands out like, "Oh hey, whoa, we got a fighter over here. Hey, look at this guy, come here."
And he looks at his friends, and he kind of pushes you away, like puts a hand on your chest and pushes you back, and he says, "All right, buddy, I'm off the clock. I don't have time for autographs. Me and my friends are just trying to enjoy the show, so scram. All right?"
No, I'm your friend, right? Like we've been around each other before. I just want to come over and say hi again, you know?
So you know this guy, and he doesn't recognize you because you're disguised, but are you inviting him to like take a closer look and recognize you? Okay.
I'm still trying to be someone else here, but like,
okay, but I think the thing is because of like you're trusting Vic's disguise, but Bruno doesn't know Vic only rolled an 11. I'm gonna see. So when you're like, I know you, he's like, do I know this guy? So he's gonna see. Do I know them? Let me make an insight check. He's not very insightful. DC 11. I got a 4. So he looks at you and he's like, "Nah, I don't know you, buddy." So and he just gestures
wait,
like,
wait. No, I see your I saw the blue rose, the blue. You know, yeah, you're. I'm a big fan too. Like me, I'm the second biggest fan next to you, probably. You know.
And yeah, you can see him. He was about to fight you over that. He was about to be like, "No, I'm her biggest fan." But then you were like, "I'm second biggest." And he nods and he says, "Actually, make a persuasion check. I want to see if he's like get someone else to scram and give you this seat."
Boom. First roll.
Wow.
Number one, big number one on that
Welcome to
one.
my house. Welcome to my house.
For
live
those
here now.
listening at home, it was the best is a hole in one. Just brilliant on the field. Well done.
So Vic, you I imagine have been. So this is what happens. So Bruno, you say you're like, I'm a second base fan, and you can see the guy be like, all right, buddy, and this is the all right, buddy. He's not even saying it to you. He's saying to his friends to signal to them like, I'm going to take out the garbage. Don't you worry about it. Like, but keep an eye on me because I'm going to show off, right? This like, I fight for a living. I'm a big tough guy. I'm going to throw you out of here. And so you see him, he starts rolling his sleeves up and he like takes his rings off and like gives them to somebody. You can see him. He's peacocking before what he expects to be a quick fight, right? But Vic, you're over at the table by yourself over here. Where is your attention right now? Delilah has gone upstairs. Bruno is in the crowd now.
I'm nearly certain I've cast invisibility and am no further than 10 feet away from Delilah right now.
Okay, so where would you go to cast invisibility? Because again, this is the thing about spells with verbal components. Somatic components are like waving your arms around. So like, that's the thing. Sometimes you could not notice them, but most of the time, like they're fairly obviously looking right at them. Verbal components are like speaking in a loud, clear voice. So people around would hear you casting a spell.
I imagine it's like timed to the jazz music, and it's like almost like a move where you like go to the bathroom and you look like you're walking in, but before you've walked in fully, you're already invisible. So you never like fully make it like.
So you're gonna leave like the common area to cast the spell. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
All right. So you have here's a question. Here's an Eberron related question.
Yeah, I have all the answers to those.
Well, it's more like a question. It's like the questions that sometimes come up on Jay Spellrunner Must Die. No one has an answer for this, but I'm looking at the layout of this bar, right? And as you walk back towards what I assume are the bathrooms, because from what I can see of them, it's 6 5x5 cubes with a connecting like hallway. So I have to assume this is the bathroom. Now there are 2 of them, but given what we know about the universe of Eberron, do you think it's just 2 batches of gender neutral washrooms, or do you think they have like gendered and non-gendered as their differentiation between the 2, or like how do they split them? Because
maybe species is more appropriate.
Yeah,
maybe that's.
I think height, like because halflings probably use a different size toilet, right?
It's a hot or not. So you actually walk up to the bathroom. It tells you if you're hot or not.
5s and 10s.
Okay, right, good. That's much better.
Or
the hot people washrooms
have like
and the right.
I assume
And
if
you can
somebody has
ask-
like a tail, then
The not hot people washrooms are for doing gross things like peeing. The other ones are for doing drugs and having sex in. So good.
No.
Okay.
You can
Got
ask Wizards of the Coast. They'll back that up.
Okay, good. All right, so this is canon now. In Eberron, it's not a gender binary; it's a hot or not binary. Good.
5s and 10s.
Yeah,
That's
5s
it.
and 10s. Okay, all right. So you get back there, and yeah, like you said, if you just walk in, cast the spell, and then walk out before the door is finished swinging, no one will notice that you're invisible. So you leave. There's no one to hear you become invisible, and then you do, and you walk out, and now no one can see you.
Hell yeah.
However, upstairs, and I think this is the thing we'll need to maybe start this but finish it next time. Upstairs, the thug in question realizes that they have been ensorcellated, right?
Bamboozled.
So you get a couple of steps ahead of him. You're maybe like here in the hallway, and you hear him mutter to himself, "Wait a second, what the hell?" Do either of you do anything? Do either of you leap into action before he realizes, or do you give him a minute?
No. Okay.
I think Delilah has like experienced
Yeah.
like Vic doing this bullshit before.
Yeah.
So
Delilah will
I'm
look
sure
back. Delilah will like look back over the shoulder and
Yeah, he has a face you haven't seen in a long time, but it is the face of a man who has just realized that he was enchanted.
bamboozled.
Yeah, he's like,
Where's
wait a second.
Chase?
That damn, and he
Here's Chase.
you can see him trying to like he's still trying to figure out what to do about that. He's like, wait a second, now that can't. what happened here? And he's like, there's a moment of confusion. Do you do anything or do you wait and watch to see how he reacts?
Delilah's gonna keep walking with just the assumption that he will follow them. And if they don't, if he doesn't, he doesn't. Delilah doesn't know that Rook is sneaky in here in this area. So, but like as far as Delilah is concerned, this dude's mad at Vic.
Yeah, sure.
So whatever.
Okay.
I'm mad at Vic all the time and I've managed to get over it.
Yeah, right. Okay. I'm going to make an intelligence check for him to see if, and it's a first level spell, right?
Yeah.
Vic?
And this probably isn't the first time a patron has cast friends on a bouncer.
Friends is a fucking cantrip.
It's a cantrip? Okay. So we'll make I'm going to make a DC 10 intelligence check to see if he realizes what's going on or if he's just like, he just has some weird feelings about Vic. If I fail this check, he falls in love with you.
Yes.
I got a 3.
3.
Okay. Someone's in love with Vic.
So what happens with this guard is the guard is having some strange new feelings about this person that talked back to them downstairs. But instead of turning around immediately to go and confront Vic about it, they're like, no, I have to do work. And so Delilah, you cast a glance, you see a moment of confusion, and you see him just like, I think maybe he literally shakes his head like he gets a chill, and then he looks at you, and I assume you don't like let on that you notice, right?
I mean, honestly, Delilah, I think would kind of let on because it's like a very smug, like,
yeah, like, are you okay?
Like, are you all right? Like, this can't be the first time someone's cast friends on a bouncer. Like,
yeah, right. Like, I guarantee that there are signs in this bar that say like no spell casting.
Yeah, like no charm spells, no
do not charm person the
money.
Bartender.
Yeah, no illusory money accepted.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And
when
so
you walk in, there's a scanner that if it detects any Warforged, there's a guy at the bar who's like, we don't serve your kind here.
Rude.
So yeah, okay. So he shakes it off. He has some weird feelings about Vic now, which we can maybe never address. But eventually you come around the corner into like a waiting area. And in this area, you can see that on one side, there's a very nice like leather couch. There's some ferns, there's a table, and there's a set of double doors right here. And the bouncer walks towards it to go and open it, and he turns to you and he says, Mr. Myson is just right through here.
Thank you, dear.
Okay. And of course, hiding behind this fern over here, we have Rook. So Rook, you watch. If Delilah goes through that door, you might lose track of her. But I think that's where we stop for now, right? Is that downstairs, Vic is invisible. Bruno is talking to this other boxer. Upstairs, you have Rook hiding behind a fern, and Delilah is about to go into I was gonna say like the lion's den, but it's a very small lion. The weasel's nest. Delilah is about to meet the baby face to face, and it seems like maybe all alone, unless Rook can get in there. So. Yeah. We'll find out how all that goes, and we'll find out that, and then we'll also figure out why the hell the group of you ended up on a train, more to the salient point, next time on Gateway to Perdition. That's our episode. Thank you for coming, everybody. Let's do some shout outs, and we'll call it an episode. Let's start down here with William. Please tell us, where can we find you and what are you up to?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at kwilliamwhite. You can also find me on the Q Times Twitch and YouTube channel. Q Times, which is QUEUE Times, like you're waiting in a queue. They do a lot of live streaming stuff. They just got a couple really exciting shows like on the roster, and the start of next year it's going to be popping. So check that stuff out. I GM Kids on Bikes. Long run continuous campaign. We're in our second season right now. We just recorded, I think, our 39th episode or something like that. So that's been really cool. I do that on Tuesday nights, but the VODs go up on the YouTube channel, so you can just check all the back catalog. It's in a playlist called Hijinks and Handlebars. Yeah, and then I also tonight am going to be on a Monster of the Week campaign. It's a continuous campaign as well, but we are in our last 2 episodes of the entire series.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's a limited series kind of run thing. We've had 4 arcs so far. We're in the 5th and final one, and that's also with queue times. So tonight at I think about 7:30 Pacific. So that's going to be super late for anybody who's not on the Pacific Coast. But
thank God for VODs.
Yes. Yeah, the VODs will also be going up on the Q Times main YouTube channel as well. But that's what I'm doing right now. And also, I think I mentioned a Kickstarter last time I was on here. That got funded. So
Yes.
Very good.
Awesome. I remember checking. I checked it right after the show, and I was like, "Ooh, they got some time to go." But I always forget Kickstarters always get a big jump at the end. So congratulations.
Well, we were concerned about it. We did a full day, like 14-hour live stream to do like a final push, and we made up $9,000 in one day. So
nice.
And that pushed us over the edge. It was great. So look forward to that in the future. That's about all I got. Okay, thanks for having me.
Excellent. That's great. Thank you. Katie May, why don't you go next?
Okay. I'm Katie May. You can find me at Twitter at OKKatieMay. If you're interested in seeing me do some DM shenanigans, you should go and listen to Dungeons, Dice, and Everything Nice. It is an all-women 5e Dungeons & Dragons podcast done by some very funny people in Chicago. It's Randy. That's what I got to say about that. It's a lot. It's a lot, but it's a lot of fun. That's available wherever you listen. Plan to come to C2E2 next year if you're in the Chicago area. But besides that, I'm chilling for the rest of the year.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Nice. That's a good way to play out the year. Excellently done. Cool. I'm saving TK and their fresh haircut for last. So Masood, please.
Cat.
Most important.
Yeah. Also, just as soon as your cat gets directly in front of you, it's like, Azula, would you like to do a shout out here? Or?
Well, I would love to talk about the social media profile and presence I'm building. Yeah, you can find me on the cats, but no, you can find me online at Marudeboy, MHRUDEBOI, at both Twitter and Instagram. On Twitter, if you follow me, I will not follow you back, but I appreciate the follow and the content because I will most often engage with you if you leave some sort of way of me to engage with you. Yeah, you can keep up with me, what I'm doing through both of those. Right now, I'll be honest, like this is my one like sort of creative show right now. I'm been directing a lot through the directing program and like haven't been creating content on my own, and it's been kind of nice. I've been, like gestating. I realized it like for the past 3 years I've been in a show that is either ended and a new one has immediately started, or I started another one during the there's been something continual. There's been a continual process, and right now, it's like, oh, I have time to write. That's how that happens. That's where that comes from. But yeah, keep up with what's happening on Instagram and Twitter. That's about it.
Fantastic. Thanks, Masood. And last but not least, looking fresh as hell, TK, please.
It's me. It's TK, and I'm fresh as hell.
Confirmed.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, follow me on the Twitters if you want spooky stories and dumb hair care tips, I guess. I write spooky stories. Read them on my website, tkjwrites.com. That's what it is. And then my Twitter is TK Joins the Fray. If you're wondering if I've gotten any more written on my novel, the answer is no. So I will be roasted daily by Ashley and Lisa, probably until I die, because they are brutal but loving.
I feel like that statement is the ultimate truth of every writer ever. If you'd like to know if I've done any work on my novel, the answer is no. Thanks for coming.
The answer is no, but I've been on Twitter.
I've been thinking about it.
My gosh, excellent. Lisa fucking roasted me yesterday, and it was...
I can't believe on Tales you're the one that gets bullied. What is this?
They're all really pretty. Like,
now
I love
that
it when
implies something about the Jace Bellerin cast that I think
you
may want to take
you
back.
are too young for me.
Well,
By
we're going to have the
far.
rest of this conversation offline. So thank you so much for coming, everybody. We're going to be back next week with more Gateway to Perdition. It should be the thrilling conclusion of our 3-part miniseries. Thanks for coming. That's it for us. See you later. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.